Alrighty, this will be the People News. Not attorney, not giving legal advice. I am hearsay. Alright, put me in the back of your head. Okay. Now, while I'm behind your head there, back of your brain, go do your own research. Okay, because we never look straight forward. We always look around us to be able to protect ourselves by any means necessary. Use that Second Amendment. Arm yourself with knowledge. Okay. Um. So, in this video, alright, we got a new Chief Justice. Okay. And the old one retired. Alright. Now, he may have aged out. I'm not 100% on this. But he's also been in, what, 3 lawsuits? And people are suing him because he's not protecting our Constitution, people. So, he may retired because of alleged lawsuits. Okay. So, this one's actually kind of, I guess, stepping in. And he's going to be talking to some people out here. Now, heads up, there's going to probably be about 4 videos, maybe 5 videos, because there's a lot to dissect from him. What kind of judge is he going to be here in Texas? Okay? And it's a surprise, surprise. He's going to violate the law. All right? Just saying. All right, let's check this out.
A concern that there are a few judges who are not pulling their weight. And frankly, they don't deserve a raise. I agree. But I'm not asking you to give this or that person a raise. That's not the way to think about this. I'm asking you to raise the stature and the appeal of these offices, which encourages more good people to apply for them. But I won't deny that there are a few judges who may not be working as hard as the job demands. And I have no tolerance for that. I'm proud of the vast majority of my fellow judges who work hard every day delivering justice for your constituents.
Okay, yeah, right. All right, minority of the judges that's not doing what they're supposed to be doing. Incorrect, sir. It's the opposite. All right, so that right there tells me he's not even going to be a good Chief Justice. Okay, just in them little words right there. Now, the only one I can think of at this here now is Judge Fletcher. You've seen a couple of his videos, right? And I talked about the thing I don't like is before he gets to see the people, right? To get that probable cause hearing. Well, he's still going to do that. He's still going to allow it. He's going to let all the judges break state law. So how's he any better by being up there being the chief judge and still violating Texas law? And he's supposed to obey Texas law, but violate it at the same time? How's that work, people?
But I have no patience for the small minority who don't. Article 5, Section 31 of the Constitution makes the Supreme Court responsible for the efficient administration of the judicial branch. And using that authority as well as authority you've given us, we're gathering...
Okay. So, right there again, right? The legislature gave them authority to investigate themselves. Well, legislatures out there, that's not constitutional. All right? You are to investigate them. They're judging yourself is like judging yourself. You can always find yourself innocent. That's the reason why people argue every day, because they're always right. All right? Cops are no different. Judges are no different. The bar union's no different. By the way, they're in a lawsuit of suing the whole bar because of their misdeeds. But is he going to do anything about that? No. All right. I digress.
Data to help us identify problem judges. We don't want to use statistical metrics like case clearance rates as blunt instruments because they don't tell the whole story, but they are very useful tools. And I believe current law provides all the tools we need to identify the problems and to deal with them. And this Supreme Court intends to do that with the help of the regional presiding judges and others. We don't need to burden all the good judges across our state with extra paperwork mandated by the legislature. We don't need to do that in order to find out where the problems are. We can find the problems, and we intend to do so.
Y'all, just think of what he just said. The arrogance in that part. We don't need to be mandated with paperwork to find out bad judges and all that. We can do it ourselves. You haven't been doing it. What are you talking about? Now, being a chief judge, he's pretty up in the judges. So all these years that he's been in a judicial side of things, right? He should know this. He's being willfully ignorant of the law to violate our rights. But the arrogance still saying, hey, we don't need a babysitter. We can investigate ourselves and find that there's no wrongdoing. And by the way, we got the whole bar union backing us up. Oh, you see the officers over there? They back us up too. Because all we have to do is call and say, hey, arrest them.
And when we find a serious problem, we can put the judge on notice that his performance is unacceptable. And if he can't turn it around, the Constitution says there are things we can do about it. Article 15, Section 8 allows the legislature, on the governor's recommendation.
All right. Again, so many things in the Constitution have been, whatever that word is, you guys know what I mean. We have 400 constitutions now. See, this is not on the governor's recommendation. All right? This is where it's wrong. The governor's recommendation is for a judge to be put in office, and then the Senate is to go ahead and say yes or no after doing their investigation, asking them questions, whether they want them on the judicial branch or not. But impeachment is supposed to be done by the legislature, our representative, and then go to the Senate to be impeached. The governor has no say in that, or supposed to. So, if they change the Constitution on that behalf, that's because they're screwing over the people. Furthermore, judges investigate themselves. Excuse me. When was the last time a judge was being impeached in Texas, y'all? Question. Right? If there has ever been any, it was way back in the olden days before the bar unions gotten so overpowered, and we actually had some form of judicial judges. But why do you think that is? If judges are investigating themselves, we can't impeach them. The proper way is using the First Amendment, petition our representative to start the process impeaching the judge, and then go through the Senate. Okay? That's the way it's supposed to be real constitutionally done. All right? Same thing as the governor. Same thing as the attorney general. All right? Same way as the president, just federal and state. It's two different territories, but the same exact process is supposed to happen that way. If it don't, it's unconstitutional.
To remove a judge for several reasons, including willful neglect of duty and incompetence.
Well, we need to impeach yourself. you need to impeach yourself. You need to go directly to the governor, say, hey, Abbott, you need to go ahead and start the process of impeaching me. Run to the representatives and say, start the process of impeaching me.
Article 15, Section 6 allows the Supreme Court, on the petition of lawyers,
Listen to that. To petition lawyers. All right? Lawyers technically wasn't involved in all this stuff until the 1840s, and that was one of the first states, up to several years later when New Mexico was the last one that had the bar union. Where did the attorneys get that authority? That's not the attorney's job. That is Congress. Congress. And then once they do the investigation, they send it to the Senate. Right? Again, I digress. This is aggravating. I mean, people, I never went to law school. Okay? But if I know these things by reading and not spend $1 in a classroom, how in the blank can they not figure this out with all the educations and Harvard and all that kind of stuff? It's ridiculous spending that much money. Well, okay, they've been well trained to violate your rights. Never mind. I know what it is.
To remove a district judge who, quote, negligently fails to perform his duties as judge, or who shall fail to execute in a reasonable measure the business in his court. These provisions allow us to do something about these problems. And they show us that the framers of our Constitution knew that judges have to be capable, qualified people who can manage a courtroom.
Well, yeah, I agree with him on that. But you guys changed the original intent of the founders. Okay? Jesus Christ.
The framers also knew that elections might occasionally give us people who aren't up for it. And their answer wasn't tough luck, vote them out in 4 years. No, they gave us tools to fix these problems in the very rare cases where they arise.
I'm sorry, y'all. This is just so sad it's funny. And so arrogant on this. Breathe.
And if we forget about these tools, or we don't use them because we think it will be too difficult, or it might make us look bad, then we're not allowing our Constitution to operate the way it was designed. Instead of holding down the salaries of 98% of judges because 2% of them aren't doing their job,
I snorted. That was so funny. 98% of good judges, of the 2% bad judges. That is flipped upside down. Okay? Breathe. Breathe.
we should use the power the Constitution gives us to make the 2% find another job. And we should pay all our judges a salary that is commensurate with the extraordinary responsibility that our Constitution asks them to bear. I've spoken enough about the legislature's obligation.
All right, so we're at the very end. Like I said, this is one of the shorts of the 40-minute video. And you wonder why we can't get justice. And you wonder why everybody that's sitting in jail is illegally there by violating Texas law. Number one, the representatives gave away their power. I don't know what to say anymore. This is... ridiculous. All right, so I grant Texas judges actually paid less than most judges in all the other states. They're, according to him, they're like in 48 states are above them in wages. Okay, but even though all judges are corrupt all nationwide, I am led to believe and do believe Texas is the worst. The way it's organized by our legislature, and apparently there was good attorneys in there to actually corrupt the system to make money. I'm just saying. So, as for me, until they get their heads out of their butts and actually follow the Texas law, right? None of them deserves a raise, except maybe Judge Fletcher. At least he's doing something correctly. You know what I mean? But I see them going to have a raise in the future, so I see that happening. After all, we're in 48th place. And they want 30%. That's going to put them pretty much equal with the rest of the states. I disagree. They're getting paid way too much as it is for violating everybody's rights. And then when you challenge it and you call out the true statute, they argue and say you have no standing. When you show verifiable proof of the statute that was in your favor and against them. All right, this will be the People News. Bye, y'all.